You can add voiceover if you screen captured without narration. In this case, I did. So I'm now using the scrubber to add some animation. I created a GIF and combined it with some other text. Here's some stock text with an added subtitle, my own text. In this case, I layered two text, one moving, one static, over some footage. It will be placed on a voiceover timeline when complete. Okay, let's take a quick look at the interface. You have your media, you have stock media, and there's a ton of it. You can type just about anything in. Say I'm looking for something with a bike, and there is literally hundreds of that stock image. Maybe I'm looking for a tree. Again, just loaded with stock images. You have your own media, which you can organize into folders, which I suggest you do. Text. There's built-in text that will allow you to do different animations. You cannot change these animations other than changing the words that are in those. You have static, which will allow you to put in your own text, put a sidebar, put a lower at the bottom, a subtitle. There's a credits. We'll talk about how to do those. These are some animated text and graphics. Again, you can't really edit them, but you can use them. I used the graduation one in the example. And then callouts are things that you can add as you're working. So if I bring this down in, I can then move that arrow to where I need it to be. So if I need to point at something, I can do that. Anytime you double click on any of these items, it brings up the editor, which you can change. So the things that you can change will pop up. Each element is different. Here is a GIF I created of the spinning ram. And sometimes you get this, you have to remove the animation to actually make it work. So there's my animation. I'm going to move it up in the corner. My transition is going to be from my start to so I'm going to start there, I'm going to end there. But I could also make it move as it spins. Let's go ahead and do that. So we're going to start there, end there, save my changes. Let's scrub that and see what it looks like. Not bad. While you're editing, the space bar will start and stop the scrubber. The left and right arrow will advance you frame by frame. If you need to be more precise down here, you can increase the level of time. And now, so you can more precisely move your scrubber. Again, you can have as many layers as you need. I did a voiceover in that second section, or I'm going to do a voiceover in this section right here. Okay, that's enough for the interface for now. You can also record screen and webcam. In that last example is a example of recording with a screen, webcam, and the screen. The nice thing about that is it creates two different, the web shot and the screenshot are recorded on two different layers so that you can go back and edit it. So I don't want the picture up there in the upper left hand corner. So I'm gonna double click on just the screen cam. I'm going to move it down to the right hand corner. I'm going to make it smaller so it doesn't take up as much space. You can do all kinds of different things. You can flip them. You can mirror it. So if you've recorded it and all the things are backwards, you can flip it. You can scale it. So that's the same as using the handles. If there's audio with that clip, you can change that. You can also change where it starts and ends. And you can do this with lots of different elements. So I'm going to start it down here in the corner, and by the end, so I'm going to click on the end, and by the end, I want it to be up in that corner. So it will take care of that transition for you. Again, lots of different things you can do. There's also a Kodachrome. So if you want to do green screen, you can do that if you have a green screen behind you. And I'm going to save my changes. Okay, let's talk about working with elements or the layers. So I want to put something in here that talks about that this is a screenshot. So I'm going to click on it, or I can click and drag, and that will allow me to move clips. If there's a piece that I want to cut out, looks like I may paused right here. So I do a cut. That turns that into two separate entities. I can also come over here and cut again. Now I have that piece and I can get rid of it completely by clicking on it and getting rid of it. You can also do Control Z, undo all of your changes. You can make a clip shorter just by grabbing one of the handles at the end. So you got to click on it selected, and I can pull it back and it will make a clip that way. I can also do the front, so I can do a Control Z, put that back. I can do that. You can't make a clip longer than it is, but you can make it shorter. If it's a text item or an animation or a GIF, so we're going to increase our scale here so that we can see some of these at the beginning. So if I need this to actually run longer, I can grab it, and since it's just text, I can make it longer or I can make it shorter. So now I scrub that. The stock animation only shows up for a short time. There's the text. So let's bring our scale down a little bit. Again, how long you want your animations to be, you can change those. I'm going to put this stock. And that's just the thing that says stock animation and the caption that I put on there. Cancel that. Here I have two different captions. One is moving, one is an animation coming up. You can also see down on the timeline here how the audio goes from 100% down to 0. You can do that with video clips as well by clicking on the clip editor. Nope, that's not it. Double click. Maybe it's the opacity parameters. So video clips have opacity, so I can make it go from 100% opacity and come back up. And I can do different levels in between. So I could make it come up very quickly and then go down very quickly. Okay, now we're going to add a title in front of this clip we just made. you have My Media is where you get the recording button. That's the only place that it is. So I've just started the record and it will use my microphone. But now I want to add some text. So first I'm going to go to background. I'm going to bring down a blue background, drop it in there. It's going to ask me to insert and push. So it gives me some space. Not sure how long it is. If I grab the handle on it, it will tell me that it's 5 seconds, which is a good amount of time. Then there's also different backgrounds that you can put in. So say I don't want a solid background. So I'm going to get rid of that. I'm going to actually put this white sparkles, insert and push again. I don't need it to be that long, so I'm going to bring it back down to about 5 seconds. I'm going to click on both elements, right click and say close the gap. It will get rid of that. Do be careful with that because it only does it on the layer. So if you've stacked layers to match up, things will be changed, and I haven't figured out how to group those yet. So the next thing we need to add is some text, and I'm just going to add simple text, pull it down, drop it in that space, and white on white is not good, so I'm going to get rid of that background. I'm going to go back to my backgrounds and insert something a little darker. Actually, I'm just going to use a solid color, so we're just going to drop a blue background or blue color in there. And this next section is the one that talks about working with elements, so I'm going to double click on that and say change the text to with elements and timelines. Changes. Scrub that just to see what it looks like. It's a little long at 5 seconds. But we're going to leave that for now. And then I can click stop recording. It will put the new recording at the end of the timeline and allow you to edit it. This concludes our video for now. More to come in the future.